From Daily Trust News Center, this is News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, flood kills 9, displaces over 6,000 across 11 local government areas in Kano State. Former governors Darie Jolinyame released from prison after state pardon. EFCC arrests 47 suspects over internet fraud in Port Harcourt. And away from Nigeria, top Pakistan Taliban leader killed in Afghanistan roadside attack. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Eugenia Abu. I would like to sincerely apologize for the delay in starting News Hour tonight. We're experiencing some technical challenges. We start from Kano, where at least 9 people have been confirmed dead and over 6,000 others displaced by floods across 11 local government areas of Kano State. While visiting the recent disaster in Ajingi local government area, the Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, Saleh Jili, said government is still locating other areas that are yet to be reported. Idris Jibrin reports that property worth over 500 million naira have been lost to the disaster.
Ibrahim Bala is one of the recent flood victims in Ajingi local government area of Kano State, whose 10-year-old daughter was killed, house and farmland destroyed after a 40-hour uninterrupted rainfall. He says he has no home, no farmland at the moment. It was unfortunate. It's really sad. We experienced rainfall for over 40 hours and I lost my daughter. I lost my home. I lost my farmland. As I'm talking to you now, I do not have anything. I don't know what to do. We are only calling on government to continue to assist us. Otherwise, we don't know where to put ourselves. As for the record before the State Emergency Management Agency, 6,417 people were affected by the flood, which also killed 9 and injured 9.
We had Kilu local government 306 with no casualty, Helena local government 62 victims with 1 casualty and 2 were injured. Lambata local government we had 1,175 and 3 were injured and 3 were dead and 5 were injured. Including 3 small children with their mother carrying 9-month pregnancy.
Recently, the Ajingi Local Government Council confirmed that over 500 people were displaced by the flood, while 3 others have been killed.
We experienced the flood disaster in this local government, which resulted in the deaths of 3 people. There is Toranki, Karamakama, Ajingi, almost all the what in the Ajingi local government are affected. To say rather than to thank the executive governor of Kano State and ES for the same what they brought this local government. We have nothing to say. We never experienced this.
Although investigation is still ongoing to identify other areas, but the State Emergency Management Agency is calling on residents to stay away from areas vulnerable to flood attack and report any incidents to the agency for immediate assistance. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And 4 months after they were granted state pardon by President Muhammadu Buhari, as advised by the National Council of State, the former governors of Plateau State, Senator Joshua Darie, and Taraba State, Jolly Nyame, on Monday have been released from prison. They were released together with 159 convicts who were also pardoned by the president on April 14th of 2022. According to officials of the Federal Capital Territory, Nigerian Correctional Service, the former prisoners have since left the prison. While Nyame was sentenced to 12 years for diverting 1.64 billion naira during his tenure as governor of Taraba, Darie was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for 1.126 billion naira fraud. Justifying the clemency, the senior special assistant on media and publicity to the president, Garba Shehu, said that it would have been insensitive for the president not to pardon the duo, saying that they had life-threatening illnesses. Bandits on Sunday night killed the coordinator, Federal Inland Revenue Service, in charge of Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kebbi states, Muhammad Kudu Adamu, at Saminaka community along Lapai-Lambata Road in Niger State. The FIRS official, alongside 3 other occupants in the vehicle, were reportedly returning from Lafiaji, his hometown in Kwara State, where he had gone to greet his relations who just returned from pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia when they ran into the bandits operating in Saminaka. Reports say he was hit by bullets on his head as a result of sporadic shooting by the bandits numbering over 50. When contacted, the Niger State Police Command's Public Relations Officer, DSP Wasiu Abiodun, confirmed the attack and said 3 persons were kidnapped while 2 tankers were burnt. Men of the Imo State Police Command have arrested 8 members of the proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, and its armed gang, Eastern Security Network, ESN, suspected to have taken part in the attack on Agua Divisional Police Headquarters on Monday. 4 police officers, among whom were 2 females, were killed and property destroyed in that attack. Police Public Relations Officer CSP Mike Abatam said that the suspects were arrested after police raided their hideout in Agua in Oguta local government area of the state. Those arrested include Obioma Chibuike, Achazie Chidebere, Onyedikachi Nwadike, Anayo Onyemere, Ifeanyi Mboyi, Chukwudi Onyausi, Obodo Promise, and Ifeobu Ebubechi. In the meantime, Primate of the Anglican Church Nigeria, Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba, has dismissed apprehensions that the current security challenges may consume the country. The Primate disclosed this in Awka at the 60th birthday celebration of the Archbishop of Awka Anglican Province, Right Reverend Chibuzo Alexandra Ibezim, at St. Faith Cathedral. Nduka, who spoke alongside Delta and Anambra state governors, contended that the failure of Nigeria is not the failure of God, adding that although the apprehensions are not to be wished away, Nigeria will surmount the present insecurity with time. They urged Nigerians to contribute their quota by voting for the right leadership come 2023.
Experimentation. They have told us there are no absolutes because this is the postmodern times. We are no more in modernity. We are even in modern period, in which everything is relative, including truth and authority. May God give us leaders whose eyes are upon the Lord. For such a time as this, God says, I know the plan I have for you, and I know for every family, for every man and woman, for the Church of God, and for this nation, Nigeria, in spite of all the challenges that we are facing, God has his eternal divine plan for us.
There is no doubt that in our nation, Nigeria, as it is today, it is not easy to shepherd the people. Because the times are difficult, families are finding it difficult to eat. We do not need to make mistakes. Mistakes have been made in the past. Because the more we have sanity in this place, the more the economy of the people of the Southeast will grow. We cannot afford to destroy our economy with our own hands.
Christians, we must come together. But we must come together. Insecurity will go in Anambra. Non government have no space in Anambra. I outline when I will celebrate. When we tackle insecurity and get it to almost near zero.
Operatives of the Port Harcourt Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have arrested 47 suspected internet fraudsters, also known as Yahoo Boys. The Anti-Graft Agency's head, media and publicity, Wilson Wujaren, in a statement said the suspects were arrested in the early hours of Thursday, August 4th, 2022, in a sting operation at various locations in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. They were arrested based on an intelligence report on their alleged involvement in internet fraud. Items recovered from the suspects include 6 cars, different brands of phones, laptops, computers, steel cameras, and Apple wristwatches. Wilson said the suspects will be charged to court as soon as the investigation is concluded. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says anybody who despises the political capability of the state will be meted with the same treatment. Governor Wike made the declaration on Monday in Port Harcourt at the inauguration of the Orochiri-Woruko Waterlines Junction flyover, which was performed by the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The Rivers State Governor explained that the dynamics of contemporary politics had made it unpopular to just gift votes away without the assurance of derivable benefits to the people. The Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, who inaugurated the Orochiri-Woruko Waterlines flyover, commended Governor Wike for his strong commitment to the delivery of physical infrastructure in Rivers State. Governor Sanwo-Olu said though he and Governor Wike belonged to different political persuasions, the invitation extended to him sent a very strong message that politicians and political leaders can come together across political and ideological divides for the good of the people. The flyover bridge is expected to end the traffic congestion along the Port Harcourt-Aba Expressway and by implication ensure ease of doing business around Port Harcourt. The Federal High Court Abuja has fixed September the 7th for the hearing of a suit seeking the disqualification of the presidential candidate of All Progressives Congress APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, from contesting the 2023 elections for allegedly presenting a forged certificate. Justice Ahmed Mohammed fixed the hearing just as it granted an ex parte order for substituted service on Tinubu, who had evaded personal service of court processes. Counsel to the plaintiffs, who are 4 chieftains of the APC, Godi Uche, told the court that substituted service has become necessary because all attempts to serve the presidential candidate have proved abortive as he cannot be reached. In a brief ruling, the judge, Justice Mohammed, ordered that the court process be served on the National Secretariat of APC and that such service shall be deemed as having been properly served on Bola Tinubu. He adjourned the case to September 7 for hearing. A media scholar, Professor Danjuma Gambo, has called for the reformation of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, into an independent body.
Our expectations of the media in terms of the coverage of conflict. The government, on the one hand, expects the media to play, if you like, very responsible roles by de-emphasizing, by de-escalating conflicts, or by de-escalating insecurity in a way. But that is not to say that the media alone can de-escalate. They cannot. They can only contribute to discussion, to analysis, by presenting perspectives that would mitigate the effects of insecurity. There is need for the National Broadcasting Commission to be independent, just like the Independent National Electoral Commission. Otherwise, it will continue to be implicated in the suspicion that it is not objective and it is not fair. And I would strongly recommend that we have a reform so as to enhance the credibility of the National Broadcasting Commission. There is a very significant weakness within the Committee of Broadcasters where self-regulation is almost non-existent. You don't see professional organizations within the industry coming together to agree on certain standards, to restrain themselves, to manage their issues, with minimum external intervention. You don't see that. You don't see them adhering to even basic ethics. And when there is any contravention, you hardly see any significant attempt by the players within the industry to deal with these issues. And I think that is also because regulation is not just a one-way street. If the government is doing, so government is left alone to decide what to do because the industry itself has not matured to the level that it can be left and trusted to deal with its own issues.
Media scholar Professor Danjuma Gambo. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, Okada riders protest as FCTA task force impounds motorcycles. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Flood kills 9, displaces over 6,000 across 11 local government areas in Kano State. And former Governor Darie Jolinyame released from prison after state pardon. Residents of Kaduna community in the federal... I'll take that again. Residents of Paduma community in the Federal Capital Territory reflect the plight of rural dwellers, especially those who are poor, vulnerable, and unable to afford private healthcare services. A medical outreach organized in the community has exposed the need to intervene in the provision of health facilities in a community that is so close to the seat of power. Matia Umar now reports.
Paduma community, a suburb in the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, consists of 9 wards. Just like many other communities in the FCT, the community lacks some basic social amenities, top on the list being a healthcare facility to cater for their health needs.
Some of the things we are lacking in this Paduma 1 Asokoro extension is social health care. When we are sick, we travel far to go for treatment. Sometimes we go to Asokoro or these barracks, or we have to climb bike from here to Kobe before we can get medicine.
The major thing we would lack for this Paduma here is hospital. No hospital here. At times, if people are sick here, they need to go Kobe for the treatment.
This medical outreach in Paduma community is coincides with the commemoration of the 100 days in office of the Controller General of the Federal Fire Service in Abuja.
The reason why we are here today is that the Controller General of Federal Fire Service is celebrating 100 days in his office today. That's the reason. But for us to celebrate it in the town, I decided to come to this community to do the celebration of this 100 days of my husband in this community. Because of I'm a nurse, I have passion for children, you understand, and I noticed that this particular community, they don't have primary health care at all, you understand.
The outreach also provides an opportunity to sensitize Nigerians on the need to consciously prevent fire outbreak and disaster in homes and workplaces by applying basic preventive measures.
When you look at the terrain of our country, you find out that most of the times the cause of fire outbreak is mostly human. It's not natural. It's most of them is due to carelessness. How do I mean? You find out that most Nigerians, they are not all that too careful. That when you leave your house in the morning, you make sure or ensure that the gadgets in your house are switched off. Especially those of us that are using pressing iron, hot plates, and also your AC. Because most of the times the fire outbreak we have is due to power outage.
The Controller General of the Federal Fire Service has been at the forefront of achieving the core mandates, duties and responsibilities of the Federal Fire Service across the 13 zones in the Federation. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And still talking health, the federal government says it is strengthening routine immunization as one of the means of safeguarding the lives of Nigerians, especially from infection and transmission of the dreaded COVID-19 disease. At the launch of SCALES 3.0 strategy to accelerate COVID-19 vaccination in the country, the Federal Ministry of Health and the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 said the launch will ensure the vaccination of at least 70% of the eligible population by the end of the year 2022 through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and its partners. Here's that report.
SCALES 3.0 is an acronym for service delivery, communication, accountability, logistics, electronic management of immunization data, and supportive supervision. The launch of the strategy for the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination is premised on speeding up the level of uptake of COVID-19 vaccine to achieve and maintain herd immunity.
Most of the world that has been affected adversely has gone ahead and vaccinated almost the entire population. We've heard it, Africa has been lagging behind.
SCALES 3 is important in that it allows us to look at immunization holistically. It allows us to bring COVID-19 into the routine immunization and the integration of immunization as a way forward to protect the health of this nation.
So we are very much aligned with the work of our sister agency, the MPHCDA, with all the efforts to deliver vaccines, COVID vaccines, as part of the national response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Delivering the keynote address, Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19, Bas Mustafa, noted that the success recorded with the SCALES 2.0 necessitated the acceleration of integrated COVID-19 vaccination and primary healthcare services across the country.
Nigeria has continued to experience changes in the factors that influence demand and uptake of COVID-19 vaccines. These changing situations are not uniform across the country. They vary from state to state and therefore require continuous review of our strategies for promoting demand and ensuring vaccines access and accountability.
In his remarks, the Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Faisal Shuaib, noted that strategic review showed that there has been an increased low COVID-19 risk perception which needs to be overcome while eliminating state-specific bottlenecks to achieve improved vaccine uptake.
It is for these reasons, among others, that the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 and the Federal Ministry of Health through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency has come up with the SCALES 3.0 strategy, which we are here to officially flag off.
Minister of Health Ehanire Osage maintained that it has become imperative for the government to launch SCALES 3.0 strategy, which entails the acceleration of COVID-19 vaccination to achieve more in confronting the virus.
This very important project is a major step in our common resolve to confront the COVID-19 virus and at the same time scale up routine immunization so that one is not being done at the expense of the other.
I have the singular honor and privilege to officially flag off the launch of the Scales 3.0 to the benefit of the people of Nigeria.
The launch of Scales 3.0 also birthed the introduction of the second dose of the booster vaccines, with calls on stakeholders to mobilize community members of eligible population to get vaccinated. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Former Nasarawa State Governor and Senator representing Nasarawa South, Tanko Almakura, has donated 5 trucks of fertilizer, herbicides and pesticides to farmers in the senatorial district as part of efforts to boost agriculture in the area. Abubakar Abdullahi reports that hundreds of farmers are expected to get the product to use in their different farms. Here's that report.
Flagging off of the fertilizer distribution to representatives of farmers from the 5 local governments of Awe, Doma, Ken, Alafia and Obi. The state acting governor, Emmanuel Akabi, said the gesture will complement government's effort to boost food production in the state. He explained that the gesture is first of its kind by a lawmaker in the state.
This time, we know how difficult it is to get farm inputs. Fertilizer has become so scarce and bloody expensive because of absence of raw materials. But our Father has felt the pains of these farmers. Our Father has listened to the cries of these farmers and has come out to support them. We have had representatives, various assemblies, at the national level.
Senator Tanko Almakura, who donated the fertilizer for distribution to farmers in his senatorial district, said the gesture is to help meet the demand for the products, as well as help strengthen effort towards food sufficiency in the state and beyond.
The demand of fertilizer is unlimited. The price is exorbitant. So some of us that are supportive of this government and are part and parcel of the system would have to go extra mile to see what we can do to support the efforts of this administration.
He called on farmers in the area to cultivate more in order to meet demand for food. Speaking on behalf of beneficiaries, Saadatu Yahya appreciated the lawmaker for the gesture, while the State All Progressives Congress Chairman John Mamman called on the beneficiaries to make judicious use of the fertilizer.
All the farmers and we the women and the youth of Southern Senatorial Zone are overwhelmed, we are excited, we are happy, and we are praying that the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide for you more than what you expect.
We appeal to beneficiaries to make judicious use of the items. The items are strictly for family and not for sale, because we need food first before any other thing.
It will be recalled that Nasarawa State was recently in the news over alleged disappearance of 9 trucks of fertilizers in the Ministry of Agriculture, while 2 suspects, including an accountant, have been arrested in connection with the incident.
Some aggrieved commercial motorcycle operators in the Federal Capital Territory on Monday morning protested against the impounding of their motorcycles. The task force of the Federal Capital Territory Administration had stormed the Goza area along the airport road in Abuja to clamp down on the operators. The operators, it was gathered, blocked the road in protest and caused a heavy traffic for motorists plying the road. A commercial bus driver who pleaded anonymity said FCT task force seized the motorcycles after the operators failed to adhere to several warnings against operating at the expressway. The FCT police spokesperson, Josephine Ade, confirmed that men from the command had been deployed to the area, in addition to those of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, to enforce the ban and forestall any security breach. Drivers in the Federal Capital Territory have been called upon to adhere to traffic rules and regulations to curb the menace of bad roads occasioned by vehicular infractions. The Supervisory Council on Special Duties in Abuja, Emmanuel Inyang, made the call while speaking at the AMAC headquarters in Abuja. Here's that report.
Emmanuel Inyang further explained that the call became necessary, especially during the rainy season, where drivers are fond of creating diversions to ease movement, thereby disrupting traffic flow. Inyang added that drivers that refuse to adhere to the road rules and regulations will be fined from 50,000 naira upward, depending on the offense of the driver.
We place more emphasis on the rural areas than the city. The reason is that the Federal Capital Development Authority most times are in charge of the cities. We decide most times to put infrastructures in the interland, most especially where the FCT administration will not be able to get closed. And that is where the populace, the masses are residing. And for us as a council, we believe that those in the satellite town already are enjoying all the goodies that is coming out of the Federal Capital Territory Development Authority. So it is beckoned on us that there are a very large crowd of persons who are in the satellite towns, who are in the local areas.
The councillor on special duties, who said Abuja Municipal Area Council would continue to monitor the activities of road users in the FCT, also revealed that AMAC will broaden its operations and collaborate with other NGOs and agencies to achieve set objectives.
And like you rightly mentioned, the rain is already here. What we do is that we ensure that in all the roads we have put in place, even before this administration comes on board, there are so many roads that the Abuja Municipal Area Council has been able to put in place. Both Third Road, for example, there is a road at Jikwe Junction. For you when you want to enter into the inner land inside of Jikwe, that road was constructed by Abuja Municipal Area Council. Again, if you go to where we have today, they have Akko ITEC. From the beginning of the express road to the ITEC was constructed by Abuja Municipal Area Council.
These efforts, the council believes, will lead to safer intra-city commuting and help ensure that cases of bad portions on the roads within the Federal Capital Territory are drastically reduced. In Abuja, Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News.
The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Adeniyi Adebayo, on Monday inaugurated a standing committee on the setting up of centralized metal scrap dump sites in all the states of the Federation and the FCT. The committee, which drew its members from critical stakeholders in the iron and steel sector, including the National Association of Scraps and Waste Dealers Employers of Nigeria, is charged by the Director, Industrial Development Department, IDD, of the Ministry, Mr. Adewale Bakari. Inaugurating the committee, the minister noted that the iron and steel sector is critical to the industrialization of the nation's economy, adding that the federal government hoped to leverage on the sector to attain the desired objective of industrialization in the medium to long term. A statement from the SA media to the minister, Ifedayo Sayo, said the committee is to, among other things, interface with the 36 state governments for land allocation for the dump sites, develop a blueprint for the operations of the centralized scraps dump sites, and come up with measures that will eliminate smuggling and exportation of metal scraps. Governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, has advocated a review of surveillance contracts on oil facilities to involve host communities in order to check the high rate of oil theft in the country. Okowa made the call when he received on Monday in Asaba a federal government delegation on anti-oil theft led by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Temipri Silva. He said that reviewing oil surveillance contracts based on performance of the contractors and engagement of host communities would ensure effectiveness in securing the nation's oil and gas assets. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Temipri Silva, had recently stated that the government was working to get the modular refineries running in order to make Nigeria a crude oil refining hub, but experts say the high level of insecurity and crude oil theft are discouraging investors from building modular refineries, which are needed to boost petroleum product supply in the country. An increase in the price of feeds, insecurity, activities of middlemen, and cost of diesel have been identified as factors responsible for the persistent increase in the price of eggs in the market. Poultry farmers in Kaduna say unless government intervenes to save poultry farms from collapse, there will be shortage of eggs in the market in the no distant future. Here's that report.
Eggs are naturally rich in vitamins B2, B12 and D. They also contain vitamin A and a number of other vitamins. Eggs are also essential in the growth of children who require them on a daily basis to optimal growth. However, in recent times, most families are gradually skipping this vital requirement due to the price increase. Musa Bala is the chairman Poultry Association of Nigeria, Kaduna State. He attributes the hike in egg price to the cost of feed and other poultry necessities.
We need to buy the day-old chick. A day-old pullet or chick that we used to buy at 100 naira is now up to 650 naira. A bag of feed of 25 kg that we used to buy at 3,000 is now 7,000, 8,000.
While the farmers cite insecurity and activities of middlemen as responsible for the cost of production, they also want the government to subsidize the feeds.
Sometimes you will see somebody will buy egg from us at the rate of 1,500 and be selling at 1,008. Or you buy from us 1,600 and be selling at 1,900. There are places that people even sell egg at 2,000 naira. One of the biggest challenges we are facing now, of course, like any other citizen of Nigeria, is the fear of insecurity. It affects my farmers seriously. Some of the farmers have to even abandon their farms because most poultry farms are situated outside town. We have cases of attack, 1 or 2 or 3 farms or more than. I'm just giving you, but that's not the number.
So we're appealing to the state government, the federal government should try as much as possible to subsidize, especially this feed is one of the most important things. You buy feed today. 2 years ago, I was making more profit than now. 2 years ago, when a bag of feed was 2,700. Today, a bag of feed is 6,400.
According to them, if the government doesn't intervene, many poultries in Kaduna State may collapse.
In the eventuality of farm continue to collapse, we will be facing a lot of shortages of egg that is needed for proper growth of children and the provision of protein to almost every Nigerian.
The farmers further call on government to help them access their farms by improving security, especially in the outskirts of the city where most of their farms are located. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Poultry farmers calling on government intervention for the production of eggs. And going from production of eggs, we go to more business reports. Chiamaka Nwafo has more.
President Muhammadu Buhari has consented to the acquisition of ExxonMobil shares in the United States of America by Seplat Energy Offshore Limited. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, who disclosed in a statement issued on Monday, ordered that President Buhari consented in his capacity as Minister of Petroleum Resources and in consonance with the country's drive for foreign direct investment in the energy sector. Adesina further said ExxonMobil had entered into a landmark sale and purchase agreement with Seplat Energy to acquire the entire share capital of Mobil Producing Nigeria Unlimited from ExxonMobil Corporation, Mobil Development Nigeria Incorporated, and Mobil Exploration Nigeria Incorporated, both registered in Delaware, USA. The presidential spokesman said ExxonMobil/Seplat is expected to carry out operatorship of all the oil mining licenses in the related shallow water assets towards production optimization to support Nigeria's OPEC quota in the short term. According to Adesina, President Buhari also directed that all environmental and abandonment liabilities be adequately mitigated by ExxonMobil and Seplat. The deal, worth about $1.3 billion, will take a 40% stake in 4 OMLs, including over 90 shallow water and onshore platforms and 300 producing wells. Nigeria lost 891 billion naira to gas flaring in 18 months. This is according to data from the Nigerian Oil Spill Monitor, an arm of the Nigerian Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, released on Sunday. The data revealed that the country lost a total of 707 billion naira in 2021 and 184 billion naira in the first half of 2022, totaling 891 billion naira. According to the Nostra report, oil and gas companies operating in the country fled a total of 126 billion standard cubic feet of gas in the first half of 2022, leading to a loss of $441.2 million in the 6-month period. On the other hand, in 2021, about 23,862.2 barrels of oil, equivalent to 3.7 liters or 199 tanker trucks, were spilled. Given a breakdown of the gas fled in the country in the first 6 months of 2022, the agency disclosed that while companies operating in the offshore oil fields fled 62.2 billion standard cubic feet of gas, companies operating onshore fled 63.9 billion standard cubic feet of gas, valued at $223.6 million. In 2021, there were around 382 publicly available oil spill records. Out of the 382 occurrences, a total of 33 of these oil spill sites were not visited by a joint investigation team, and 122 of these had no estimated quantity of oil spill provided by the companies involved. And finally, in stock markets, the Monday's trading activities on the floor of the Nigerian stock market closed bearish as the All-Share Index declined by 0.46% to close at 50,489.73 points. The market capitalization declined by 0.46% to close at 27.233 trillion naira, shedding 125 billion naira. The market break closed negative as 10 equities emerged as gainers against 15 equities that declined in their share prices. An aggregate of 207 million units of shares were traded in 4,232 deals valued at about 2 billion naira. And that's it on Business News.
Thank you, Chiamaka. And now to foreign news. A late-night roadside bombing in eastern Afghanistan has struck a vehicle carrying members of the Pakistan Taliban, killing a senior leader and 3 other members of the group. Several Pakistani officials and the group said Abdul Wali, also known as Omar Khalid Khorasani, was a top commander of the Pakistan Taliban and was allegedly behind some of the deadliest attacks in recent years. Wali's death delivers a big blow to the armed group known formally as the TTP and comes a week after a U.S. drone raid in Kabul killed al-Qaeda chief Ayman al-Zawahiri. No one immediately claimed responsibility for the Sunday night killing of Wali, who was on the U.S. State Department's most wanted list and carried a reward of up to $3 million for information on his whereabouts. Pakistan Taliban on Monday confirmed the killing and blamed Pakistani intelligence agents for it, without offering evidence or elaborating. The U.S. Department of the Treasury has announced sanctions against the virtual currency mixer Tornado Cash, which it claims has helped launder more than $455 million for the Lazarus Group, a hacking organization associated with the North Korean government. The Treasury Department said in a statement Monday that Tornado Cash has been used to launder more than $7 billion worth of virtual currency since it was started in 2019. The U.S. and South Korea have accused North Korea of using hackers to steal funds that can be used to finance its weapons program, an accusation that North Korea denies. The sanctions prohibit Americans from using the mixer and freeze any of its U.S. assets. Former Manchester United footballer Ryan Giggs has gone on trial on charges of attacking and coercively controlling his ex-girlfriend in a case that has upended his managerial career. The 48-year-old, who until recently served as coach of the Wales national team, has pleaded not guilty to the charges, which carry a maximum jail term of 5 years. The jury trial at a Crown Court in Manchester opened at about 11 in the morning on Monday and presided over by Judge Hilary Manley is expected to last 2 weeks but could overrun. The first day was to decide the final jury selection and hear the opening speech by prosecution lawyer Peter Wright. Wright told the judge the trial would include a compilation of security camera footage and body cam videos. You've been watching News Hour on Trust TV tonight. We thank you for being patient with us and staying the course. With this, we have come to the end of News Hour. For more news, connect with us across all our social media platforms. I'm Eugenia Abu. We thank you for watching.